are the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine.
I'm still James.
Yeah, we got a couple things to talk about today. Got a movie review and a trailer reaction. They dropped the Infinity War, so we're going to do a little discussion on that. But right now, we about to jump in on this movie review. So we went to see Tomb Raider, just fresh off watching the movie. This is the brand new Tomb Raider. Most people know Tomb Raider was already a movie by Angelina Jolie. Came out like, when did that first one come out?
Was that like 04, 05?
I think it came out like 02. Like 01.
Yeah.
The first one came out like 01 and the second one came out like 04, something like that. Mm-hmm. It was two movies. I haven't even seen the second one, Cradle of Life. I haven't seen that one because the first one I hated so bad. I just like, man, fuck that. So I didn't even watch the second one.
Like, for whatever reason, I saw both of them, and it feels like I saw three horrible movies. I keep thinking, what was the third one about? No, it was just two. They had enough horrible stuff for two movies?
Yeah. Okay, so the Tomb Raider was a video game, man. It was a video game that came for PlayStation. Came out like what, like 96 maybe?
96, yeah.
Around that time, because that's when PlayStation really started to make PlayStation 1 started to make their run, and Tomb Raider was one of the marquee games that kicked off PlayStation. And at that time, you know, that the graphics wasn't so good, but they had something on there that made everybody say, let me play a little bit more of this game. And the character of Lara Croft was built like pretty much like a porn star. Yeah, she had on short shorts and tank top, and her boobs were like ridiculously big. Yeah, so
it was the 90s.
Yeah. That's what, you know, but on the whole, besides that, it was still a real good game.
They were extremely playable games.
Yeah.
Punishing, but playable.
You had your signature two guns, and then you used to just can run and jump and kind of like free run around. And that was kind of like one of the early games where you can kind of like free run around like that, you know.
And get killed by tigers.
Yeah. So, all right, so that the game got so popular they made the movie, the Angelina Jolie movie. I wasn't crazy about it. I remember specifically seeing that movie, and I could not wait till it was over. So it was like one of the movies at the end. It was like, God, just get over it so I can go home.
Finally.
Now, did I have the same feelings about this new movie? I don't know. I'll let you know.
So a few years back, they decided to reboot the series. You know, try to make a game with better story, you know, for a new generation, and so they made Tomb Raider.
Was it just Tomb Raider? Or was it the beginning, or
it was just Tomb Raider?
Okay, so yeah, this was the reboot of the game, where it is basically a prequel kind of thing showing how Lara Croft became the Tomb Raider.
I think that was that 2013, 2014, something like
around there. Yeah. I got that game. It was a pretty good game.
Oh yeah.
And they added more elements in it. This is before she had the two guns, and she used a bow and arrow and a pickaxe. And they actually added used all that in this movie.
So like this is the game that the movie jumped off from.
Right. And it's basically based off that game in particular. So this movie starring Alicia
Vikander.
Yes, Alicia Vikander. And then a few other people. Dominic West is her father. Richard Croft. Who else? Walton Goggins is the villain. And I can't remember the Asian co-star.
His name is lost to me.
Okay, so plot of this movie: Lara Croft, her father disappeared when she was like a teenager, 15 or something, and now she's like in her early 20s, and she's working as a bike carrier in the city. She's working as a bike carrier in the city to pay the rent. She refused to take any of her inheritance money
because she has to declare her father dead, and she ain't ready to
she won't do that. So she's working as a bike carrier just to I guess pay the rent. Yep. She's doing stuff like learning mixed martial arts and stuff. So she's a thrill seeker.
Basically, she ends up finding out some stuff about what her dad was into. why he left that last time.
Right, and that's what kicks off the movie when she get a clue to what happened to her father, and this makes her go on a venture, if you will, to find out what happened to her father. So she trying to trace her father's footsteps, and 7 years later, she still think he is alive somewhere. That is stupid, right? We're gonna get to that.
Hey, she has hope, man.
So let's talk about. I want to talk about that the bike carrier stuff before we get to move further with the plot. So it was some good things, good shots there with the whole scene. They had a scene where she's going through the cities of London and weaving in and out of traffic. It was some good stuff there, but I was looking like, man, I'm not. I'm not used to driving in those kind of cities where maybe you probably see more cyclists in New York or whatever.
Bike messengers and stuff.
That shit'll drive me crazy, man. The way they was driving in front of cars and y'all crazy? What the hell no? I'm like hell. I'd be so mad if I was driving, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they just weaving out and jumping in front of traffic and slowing people down and people almost hitting them. Like, are you serious?
I mean, on the other hand, that sounds like the kind of shit I'd want to get into when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking annoying. if I'm a driver, if I'm a taxi driver or whatever. I mean, it was some cool little shots the way they did that scene though. I'm just speaking from standpoint of the story, the people they had to deal with that shit. But the cinematography on that scene was kind of cool.
Sequence though, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that kind of showed her athletic prowess, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they did something there, so they could show that she, got that what they call that adrenaline. She kind of like adrenaline junkie a little bit, So I'm like, okay, all right, that worked. So like we said, further on in the plot, she goes to look for her father, and that's when you bring all the video game elements or whatever. But it's things that happened that was making me so mad that I was like, okay, enough with this old just fall into where you need to be stuff. I hate that stuff. So, I mean, and then, because there's one scene, she almost got robbed by some 3 college students. Because I swear, I'm looking like, are these supposed to be thugs or college students? They look like some college students.
Like, because I'm looking
See how they was dressed?
Yeah. Because I'm looking at them, I'm like, okay, who the hell is it? They gonna rob or anything.
Right. And then I'm like, but they look like college students.
Like,
y'all did not toughen them up at all.
Dude pulled his knife, I'm like, somebody come get their little brother.
You know what I did kind of like about that, where she didn't just take the knife away and kick his ass like she just like, okay, fuck that, and ran. You know what I'm saying?
It's like,
that was I like that. But when I was talking about where she ended up somewhere where she needed to be,
she ended up right where she
the person she looking for. Like, okay, bullshit, stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Now I will say, they did end up helping her out. Like they pretended they were.
Yeah, she landed right where they was like, oh, I'm gonna show you where to go, and she ended up right there. Yeah, that too convenient. Get on my damn nerve. It's cliched. It's I've seen it too many times, and it's made. It's a plot device to move the story along, and it's like it's lazy writing.
Unnecessary lazy writing.
So yeah, so that's when her adventures start. So we're gonna talk about some of the things she did on her adventure, like that was in the game. And they started off on the boat. Now you've seen a lot of these moments in the trailer, and they basically showed all the moments of defying her little, her almost death moments. Yeah, that was all in the trailer, like every moment. Yep. So what you think of them from starting off?
I mean,
when they was on the boat.
I mean, they pretty much just took as much of that as they needed from the game. It was just, they tossed her around a little bit. They did start this movie off kicking her ass.
Yeah. Like, literally.
This movie started with her getting her ass kicked, and every 50 seconds she was getting her ass kicked again.
But what I do like about that is they make they showed she's actually a strong, competent fighter. Yeah. Which I do like that she's been training and learning where opposed to a movie where a person never done any shit, and next thing you know, they taking out people.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so they gave you a backstory of why she's able to, go toe to toe with some people.
Right.
Which is I give them points for that.
Yeah.
But
I remember when we saw the trailer, I talked a lot of stuff about her making that jump from the boat.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and
it was pointless. But go ahead.
It was it was kind of pointless, but like I'm a little more forgiving of it now because she wasn't trying to get anywhere but not dead.
That's what I'm saying. It was pointless to show that jump like in slow motion because she was not trying to get to another side.
Right.
She just was jumping. But it was just a cool shot for the camera. That's all it was.
Like, I would have rather, if you're going to do that scene, have her trying to get to something, like trying to grab hold of something.
Yeah.
But
it was just a cool shot. It was a cool shot for the camera. But they did another jump like that in the movie, which I'm calling like bullshit. Like immediately, like, oh, really? You gonna make that jump?
Yeah.
But it was other moments that was taken from the game. The part where the plane and all that.
Yeah.
Did you? How did you care for that?
I mean, it was pretty much exactly from the game. They just copy and paste.
Yeah, I know. Is that good or bad for you?
You know what? I'll allow that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would prefer stuff like that in a video game movie that's less like the game. Mm-hmm. We did play through the game. We know what's in the game. We just want you to see that we know it's in the game, but we are still making our own movie. Like I would respect it more there.
Yeah.
But with this, it's like with as much as they took directly from the game, it's like, what am I supposed to be excited?
I know. We seen the cinematic on the game,
You know,
even shot better.
Like I did that cutscene. Matter of fact, I did the little bit of gameplay before the cutscene that made me feel that.
Yeah,
You know?
I know. You can control the person, which makes it even more exciting than just watching it. But I mean, you can't. I say they limited what they did borrow from the game. So I did like that.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just everything, like every scene was another part of the game, another part of the game, another part of the game. My problem with what I'm gonna get into this later, it just in between those scenes, it was not much. You know?
And that's definitely one of my biggest gripes with this movie is other than the stuff they did take from the game.
Right.
I don't see anything that I care about.
Yeah, and then it makes you say, well, I might as well just watch the fucking cinematics because that's the only exciting thing.
I could have just played the game.
And so, like, the trailer showed all these stunts of her, defying
all these death-defying stunts.
Right, death-defying stunts of her trying to survive, which was cool, but those were very short moments in between a lot of dull shit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like right when I see something kind of cool, you go back to walking in the jungle, bored out your mind. And I was like, man, Walton Goggins, man. I love him as an actor, and I'm telling you, man, he was slumming it like a motherfucker through this movie.
He collected his check.
Man, hey, you talking about you just woke this dude up to do a scene. I swear, he always looked wily-eyed like a motherfucker already. So his hair was already crazy. He had facial hair growing. It looked like he was asleep. And they was like, hey, Walter, we got to do this scene. Man, goddamn. All right, come on. Roll the cameras.
Yeah. This is another one of those things that, like, I wish if they weren't going to do it like the game, they would just completely take themselves out of it.
Yeah.
Because he is, like, his character is a character from the games.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, his character in the games is this religious zealot who, like, full on believes in everything that he's talking about.
So they took a lot of that element out.
Right. So, like,
and they just made him a guy that needed to do a job.
Right. So he's just a guy doing a job in the movie. I'm like, so why not just make him another guy?
That's true. But I
like,
really
that always feels to me like pandering.
Yeah, just by giving him his name.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, like, did we need to see a religious fanatic talking about how this is going to do this and this is going to do that? You know?
I mean, like, actually, in a weird way, I feel like it would have improved some of the later story beats to have it, like, not be what he thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what you think of the tomb raiding stuff in the movie? That whole sequence of them raiding the tomb or her solving the puzzle.
They're blindly stumbling through the booby traps.
I know. I'm looking like, it's like, I'm going to solve this. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't that exciting, but okay.
Yeah. Like, even then, like, the, one of the ones they had to, there were some prayer wheels. I did not know those things were prayer wheels. No one pointed out that they were prayer wheels. Yeah. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, I've solved the riddle.
Yeah, I know.
Like, yeah.
And they had a scene where I guess she was trying to solve one of the riddles, and she was like, they was like, no, try this or try that. I mean, by process of elimination, we don't need somebody smart if you're going to use every single fucking piece to do it.
And then at the last second, oh, wait, I need to use these two at the same time.
I'm not impressed, Laura.
Oh, man. Like, and so much of this movie is on that level. It's like them trying so hard to impress you.
I know. Yeah, no.
It ain't working.
I mean, and then we could talk about some of the fake shit, the Hollywood shit, where they wanted to give her a bow and arrow she got the bow and arrow on the game. Okay, stealthy kills, that's cool. You in a firefight and people got M16s, a bow and arrow ain't gonna cut it. Now you use a bow and arrow when you want to sneak in and stealthy take somebody out. Okay,
and see, and even that I could allow if she wasn't blatantly ignoring every gun she walked by.
Oh, that's what I was about to get to. Okay, you killed the dude with a gun with an arrow, so because you didn't have a gun. No, when she killed the dude with a gun, she ran past the gun and kept the arrow. It's like, man, come on, man, what the fuck?
She didn't have but like 9 arrows to begin with.
And she ended up with 38.
She ended up with 38. Like, who is making all these arrows?
No, maybe she was taking them out the bodies and putting them back in the quiver. I mean,
at one point she's running. She clearly only has 2 arrows.
I know. No, it killed me when she shoot somebody like in the side. They just die.
Yeah. She got one dude in the shoulder.
Yeah, no vital organs, but he just kill over and die.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, man, get on with that shit, man. I swear, dude, it's like Hollywood, y'all pissing me off.
It's like they have a little bit of a standoff. And it's her with an arrow and another dude with a gun. I'm like, you're not winning this with one arrow.
I know, but I'm gonna give them a pass on that because I think the guy didn't want to kill him because he needed her.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, I could shoot your ass, but Right. But anyway, we're gonna wrap that up, man, because
we don't need no more time on this.
So I'm gonna give it my rating, man. I give this movie all right, because it was it had some potential. I like the main actress. She did a good job, man. It was a lot of bad writing and a lot of cliche moments. It was a lot of things in there that made me say, okay, let's just get to the next scene. And it was a lot of dull moments. It was so many dull moments that I just was looking forward to the action, and where it was far in between. So besides the action moments which they showed in the preview, which they showed in all the trailer, then it was a by the numbers Hollywood blockbuster movie. Yeah. And those are never get over all right for me. Right. You lucky you didn't get under all right. You could have got a whack. But since it was enough in there to save it from going to the whack territory, I give it all right.
Now then.
Really?
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I gotta give this movie a whack. And none of this is on Alicia Vikander. She did her damn job. She read the lines they gave her. She did all she could for this movie. But there's not enough good writing in this movie, and there's either too little taken from the game or too much taken from the game. Mm-hmm. They've got exactly the wrong amount of stuff from the game in this movie to make this a worthwhile movie. It's just another run-of-the-mill, paint-by-the-numbers, Hollywood bullshit video game movie. And I ain't with that. End scene.
There you have it. I give it all right. He give it a whack. It was just the moments that they got right in there, you can just watch it in the video game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it'll be better.
Yeah, the stunts and stuff, which it wasn't that many.
They could have just come up with their own Tomb Raider style plot line.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna wrap up. That's our review for Tomb Raider, 2018 Tomb Raider. Could have been better.